Okay, we're gonna go putting our disc brake setup on. I done got the right side on. I'll show you that. That way it wouldn't look like a total dummy trying to put it together on camera. So I went ahead and done the one side so I'd know how everything worked, because you gotta check for clearances and all that stuff. So I'll show you the right side on here and then we'll go put the left side on. Okay, here's the right side on. So you got the caliper, the brackets on there. We got everything on there. So I'll set the camera up so we can see putting the left side together, and that way you can tell more about it and how it's done, and if you like this setup or not. Okay, we got our bolts in here. Instead of getting the T-bolts, I just got these, took the regular ones that they sent with them and ground one of the ears off where they'd slide in there. They're grade 8 bolts. And you got to put your bracket to where your caliper mounts towards the back. And you got a spacer, slide your spacer on. And I wasn't real happy with the clearance on the bearing with just the spacer, so I added a washer in there. And some people may say, oh, shouldn't have done that, but it makes the clearance a whole lot better, makes it fit up tight. There's no movement in the bearing once you tighten everything down. It just, my opinion, it don't squish the bearing as bad as it was going to the other way. Because without that washer in there, it was gonna squeeze that bearing inside the 9-inch end pretty good, looked like to me. But this way it just fits it in there tight, and it won't have a lot of pressure like it was the other way, but it's still in there good and tight. So I don't know what 100% the deal was right there. I mean, you can do whatever you feel comfortable with. If you want to compress it up in there that tight, that's good. But like I said, when it's tightened down, there's no end play. So you can still see it pushing the bearing up in there a little bit where it fits good and snug, so it ain't like it's letting the bearing move around. Now I want to tighten them in a cross pattern so it pulls everything up flat. I'll get them all snugged up against it. And I'll snug this in a little more, go across from it. Snug that in a little more, go across from it. Of course, this is one thing, you know, you may just want to tighten them all down. I just think it pulls everything up flatter. And then I just go around them to make sure I got every one of them good and tight. And see, I've checked everything, and that bearing is still in there good and tight. There's no in play movement, so it's got everything. That's my cover. It's got everything like it's supposed to be. All right, when you get that on there, you got to put your caliper mount bracket. The way you do this first is, I know how many spacers I need, so I don't have to double check it, but you mount this onto your caliper first. You got a right and a left caliper. Right here is the L for left, so let me adjust this a little bit. Right there, L for left, the right one was marked for right. But you mount this onto your caliper, slides on the inside like that. Your caliper bolts go through here with your brake pads, and you test fit it on the rotor to see how many spacers you need. depending on your setup, you're either going to need the two 5/16 spacers or the two 5/16 and the 1 1/8. Well, we had to have all three of them. So you have 3 go up here, 3 go here. And like I said, I know that's what I need. That way I could go ahead and bolt these on without having to put the caliper on, put the rotor on, tighten everything up, take everything back off, and then tighten the bolts. So like I said, I know I gotta have 3 spacers. We'll get our bolts in here. Don't put these in backwards like I'm fixing to do. The bolts go this way. Slide these spacers on. Your caliper bracket goes on next. When you get these on tight, then you can slide your rotor on. But you cannot get to these bolts on this side with the rotor on. That's why you have to test fit everything, then tighten it up. But like I said, I test fit everything on the other side and know what setup we got. Two ratchet wrenches can be aggravating. And don't tighten one of them up. Just get them run up there. Get all of them run up against it. That way you have everything kind of in place. You don't want to tighten one down and then the others be kind of crooked and tighten everything up crooked. But the way the bolt fits in these brackets, when you tighten it up like this, it'll tighten everything up straight. Like I said, this kit comes from Speedway. Seems to be a real nice kit. I got the kit without the emergency brakes because it's going in the race car. So I had emergency brakes in it for years, so we could have hooked them up, but I just decided not to. Save that few pounds, you know. Double check everything, make sure they're all tight. Okay, alright, when you get them tight, then you can slide your rotor on. You want to put a lug nut on there to keep your rotor flat up against it. You don't want it moving around. caliper bolts, brake pads. Okay, you got your inside pad, if you can see it, good. And then you got your outside pad that fits in the thing. And see, it'll go up here, bleeder screw up, and it slides down over your rotor. And it fits in there kind of tight, so you have to get it just right. And your brake pad wants to move around. The only thing I see is they should have put that clip in there that holds that in place. I don't know why they didn't. Okay, these calipers have got rubber seals in there. So you want to take a little Vaseline, put on the tip and on the slide part. Because if you don't, and you poke them through there, they'll push that seal out. Make sure you hold your pad up, because that goes under it. Put a little extra in there and on tip up where I wipe it off. Vaseline makes it a little slick and aggravating, so you gotta kind of use your ratchet. Then you just snug these up, just make sure they go in the hole like they're supposed to go. Make sure your brake pad, the little ears, is on that your bolts go through them. And see, that little rubber bushing is still trying to push out with me putting the Vaseline on it. So you have to watch that. Top side done good, but this bottom one is not wanting to cooperate. See if that'll do it. You may have to kind of hold up on it, or still won't come out. Okay, went through it that time. Like I said, you just gotta watch and make sure you don't push that little rubber bushing out. Snug them up, and there it is. Like I said, make sure your bleeder screw is the top. That's why they're marked left and right. You can see you got the Speedway logo on it. And like I said, there's the spacers in there. 2 bit thick ones and 1 thin one on top and bottom. Rotors. So like I said, you get the rotors, the calipers, the brackets, all that right there. And the only thing is, I don't have any brake lines, so I need to get some rubber brake hoses, and I'll probably just call Speedway and see what they have that fit to these, that'll fit to my metal lines. That way I ain't gotta do no more modifying, because I got the metal line that runs across there. But that's it. Got the rotors on the right side and left side. Disc brakes. So now the car will have disc brake 5 lug all the way around. I run it for a long time with 5 lug on the front and 4 lug on the rear. And of course, the only reason I changed over to 4 lug on the front was for the bigger brakes and the wheel option, because you could just find a lot more wheels in a 5 lug than you can a 4 lug. So that was the main thing, and that's why we're going to do this on Drake's car. We're going to put the 5 lug all the way around in it. His is a street car, but you can just find more 5 lug wheel options than you can. I mean, you go about brand new ones, but you can find a lot better used selection with 5 lugs. Now we'll get this thing on the jack and start getting it up under the car. But that is the Speedway disc brake setup. I'll put the part number in the link, or if you watch the video that had the prices on what we done on this rear end, it had it in there. But I'll go ahead and add it to this one too when I post it.